This is Far Cry 5, Condensed. The story takes place in Hope County, Montana, where a cult called the Project at Eden's Gate has risen to prominence. The leader of the cult is Joseph Seed, a preacher who believes he was chosen by God to prepare for the end of the world. You play as some nameless deputy. The game begins with you and your task force setting out to arrest Joseph Seed. You and your team enter Joseph's church in the middle of his sermon.
Joseph Seed! I have a warrant issued for your arrest.
There they are, the locusts in our garden.
Despite the objections from the cult members, Joseph voluntarily surrenders himself, confidently believing that God won't let you take him. While taking Joseph back to the helicopter, the cult members become increasingly hostile. I'll be referring to the cult members as Peggies, which is the term they use in the game. After bringing Joseph into the helicopter, the Peggies recklessly grab on the helicopter while it's lifting off, causing it to crash. As you come to, you have an unsettling stare down with Joseph while he talks to dispatch, and oh boy, looks like he has more influence than you realized.
Everything is just fine here. No need to call anyone.
Yes, Father. Praise be to you.
The Peggies quickly arrive at the scene, and Joseph announces to his followers that the reaping has begun, which means it's time for them to purge the non-believers, including you and your task force. You and one of your teammates, Burke, escape from the Peggies and get into a nearby trailer house. Burke wants to go alert the National Guard, so as the two of you make a daring escape, you get caught in an explosion and fall into a river. Burke gets captured by the Peggies while you get pulled away to safety by Dutch, a lone survivalist. Dutch informs you about the cult and how you can fight against them. Now that Hope County is cut off from the rest of the world, the only support you're going to get is from the resistance fighters in the area. Hope County is divided into 3 regions, each controlled by one of Joseph Seed's adopted siblings. They can be confronted in any order you want, so let's tackle John Seed first, the cult's head of indoctrination and influence. In a broadcast, it's shown that John is holding Deputy Hudson captive, so you gotta find some way to save your teammate. You meet with some of the resistance members in the region, like Pastor Jerome and Mary May Fairgrave, and they let you know how you can disrupt John's plans. Once you stir up enough trouble in John's region, John will send out a hunting party to bring you to him. John forces you to undergo the cleansing, getting some sadistic enjoyment from it. But Joseph shows up and reprimands John for mocking the cleansing. Joseph believes that he can redeem you. While you're being taken away in a truck, Pastor Jerome intercepts it and rescues you. By causing even more trouble, John captures you again and takes you to his bunker, where you and Hudson get tied up in chairs. John explains his practice of tattooing people's sins onto them and then cutting that skin off for everyone to see, which he believes is a way for people to atone for their sins. He takes Hudson away to torture her some more, which gives you an opportunity to escape. On the way out, you run into John again, and he states that your sin is wrath, believing you have an inclination towards violence. A bit rich coming from a nutcase like him. Anyhow, you escape his bunker. Once enough damage has been done to John's operation, he captures your friends from the resistance to lure you in. Upon entering the church where they're being held, you get knocked out, allowing John to tattoo the word wrath onto your chest. John forces you and your resistance friends to go through atonement by swearing on the Book of Joseph. When it's your turn to atone, Pastor Jerome covertly gives you a gun, giving you a chance to shoot John, but the bullet just grazes his ear. John retreats to his airstrip, prompting you to chase after him, resulting in an aerial battle. His plane gets destroyed, so he parachutes to the ground and attempts to flee again, but you catch up and fatally wound him. In his dying breaths, John asserts that Joseph is right about the end of the world, and you're not saving anyone.
Everyone thinks he's crazy, but he's not. This world is on the brink. You can feel it in your bones.
Well, whatever, he dies, so you snatch his bunker keys. You go to John's bunker and find Hudson, who's clearly been traumatized by all the torture she's been through.
We were begging for mercy, and he would just fucking watch.
With Hudson by your side, you make your escape and destroy the bunker. So that's great, the Resistance just delivered their first major blow to Joseph Seed and his cult. The next sibling you must deal with is Faith Seed. Faith oversees the production of Bliss, a powerful hallucinogenic drug that's been used to convert people to the cult. Unlike her two brothers, Faith has a very gentle and kind demeanor, but she is also very manipulative. Every now and then, she will appear to you while you're high on Bliss, trying to persuade you to join her. You do a pretty good job of resisting her influence, but the same can't be said for Burke, who has been completely brainwashed by Faith.
We were wrong to come here. We meant no offense. The actions at the church were the result of one rogue deputy who acted maliciously.
You join up with Sheriff Whitehorse at the Hope County Jail, where a resistance faction called the Cougars are based. You rescue Burke and bring him back to the Hope County Jail. At first, it seems like he's no longer under Faith's control, but later, he kills the leader of the Cougars and opens all the doors to the Hope County Jail, after which he unalives himself. The Cougars suffer heavy losses, and Whitehorse gets captured by the Peggies. On your way to confront Faith, you are pulled into another Bliss hallucination. Even as you're tripping on Bliss, you somehow defeat Faith. Before she dies, Faith tells you that you're the hero that will decide how things will end. You're still under the effects of Bliss as you enter Faith's bunker, but the effects slowly wear off as you proceed to shut down Bliss production in the bunker. After blowing up Faith's bunker, you take Sheriff Whitehorse back to the Hope County Jail. The last sibling you must take out is Jacob Seed, the cult's head of security. Once you start causing trouble in Jacob's region, he will capture and begin to mentally condition you to become a crazed killer, using the song Only You to trigger an altered state of consciousness. Deputy Pratt, one of your teammates who originally came with you to Hope County, has been thoroughly broken and conditioned by Jacob.
You shouldn't have come for me. Should've run.
You get rescued by the Whitetail Militia, the resistance group that's fighting against Jacob. The Whitetails are cautious of you, aware that you're in the process of getting brainwashed by Jacob. Nevertheless, they still accept your help in their fight against him. Jacob captures you a few more times until you're fully broken by his conditioning. He triggers your killing spree once more, which leads to you involuntarily killing Eli, the leader of the Whitetails. The Whitetails are horrified at what you did, but they understand that Jacob should be the one to be held accountable, not you. When you go to confront Jacob in the mountains, Only You starts playing on the surrounding speakers, triggering your mental conditioning. After destroying the speakers, you take down Jacob. Jacob claims that you simply did just as Joseph predicted.
And this is where we are, right here, on schedule, just waiting for someone to push us. And oh boy, if you pushed us, you did everything he said you would do.
And so he dies, and you take the keys to his bunker. You head to Jacob's bunker and rescue Deputy Pratt. Pratt has gone through a lot, but he feels stronger now, and he's ready to take his revenge. After flooding the bunker, the two of you escape as it's torn apart. With all his siblings dead, it's finally time to face Joseph Seed. You return to the church where you first encountered Joseph, but Joseph has the upper hand. Using the Bliss, he hypnotized your allies from the resistance. Whitehorse, Hudson, and Pratt are being held hostage. Even though you killed his siblings and caused significant damage to his cult, Joseph still gives you the choice to walk away. If you agree to leave, this will lead to the non-canon ending. As you and your team drive away from Hope County, Sheriff Whitehorse promises that they will return with the National Guard. Whitehorse turns on the radio and uh-oh, Only You starts playing. Your mental conditioning kicks in and the scene cuts to black. You can probably guess what happens next. So that was the non-canon ending to Far Cry 5. Rewinding back, if you refuse Joseph's offer to walk away, you will engage in battle with him. He floods the whole place with Bliss, making you have to dehypnotize your friends as you're fighting. Although you manage to defeat Joseph, this victory is short-lived. Turns out that he was right about the end of the world.
The wrath of God upon the earth. It is finished, child.
Oh my god!
Sing grace. How sweet the sound.
You You and your team take Joseph and you start driving towards Dutch's bunker, the nearest bomb shelter. Someone please explain to me why they bothered to take the insane cult leader with them. They could have left his ass behind. Anyway, as you're driving through the nuclear fire, the car crashes into a falling tree, which kills everyone inside the car except for you and Joseph. While you're drifting in and out of consciousness, you're dragged into Dutch's bunker by Joseph, who then murders Dutch and cuffs you to a bedpost.
You're my family. And when the world is ready to be born anew, we will step into the light.
It's just you and Joseph in the bunker, and you're going to be with him for a very long time. And that's the end of Far Cry 5. Let's move on to Far Cry New Dawn, which takes place about 17 years later. The survivors who took refuge underground have emerged and started to rebuild society. They built the settlement of Prosperity, and for a while, things were nice, but the good times didn't last. A raider group known as the Highwaymen destroyed the settlement and killed many of its people. Desperate for help, the people of Prosperity started looking for Thomas Rush, someone that could help them rebuild. And that's where you come in. You play as the security captain working for Thomas Rush. The game begins with you having just survived a train crash, the result of an attack by the Highwaymen.
They're coming fast. We need to stick together. Understood?
With Thomas Rush and your teammate Garrett, you try to get to safety, but the Highwaymen quickly catch up. Meet Mickey and Lou, the ruthless twin sisters in charge of the Highwaymen.
I gotta ask you rabbits a question. The f you think was gonna happen?
Riding in on a giant hunk of iron, just clouds of black smoke.
You think we wouldn't notice?
The twins try to recruit Thomas Rush for his technical expertise, but he refuses. In response, Lou brutally murders Garrett. To keep you safe, Thomas pushes you into a river so you can get away. Unfortunately, you can't swim for shit, but luckily, a girl named Carmina Rai pulls you from the river.
Oh my god, I saw you hit the water and I was able to pull you out before you drowned, but near as I can tell, I think we're the only ones who got away.
Carmina guides the way to Hope County and takes you to Prosperity, where she reunites with her mom, Kim. Kim tells you how you can help Prosperity, and she points you to where you can start looking for Thomas Rush. You find Thomas being held captive at a coal mine, so the two of you escape and head back to Prosperity. Thomas is willing to help Prosperity, but he needs people. More specifically, he needs specialists. After recruiting a few specialists and upgrading the settlement, Kim throws a celebration. But the festivities are interrupted when the twins make a surprise appearance. The twins aren't happy about how you defied them by supporting Prosperity, so they demand that you leave. Of course, you're not going to, so they launch an attack, inflicting heavy damage on the settlement. Seeing how Prosperity won't be able to survive another attack, Thomas suggests a drastic measure, going to New Eden for help. New Eden is made up of the remnants of Joseph Seed's cult, and Kim remembers how awful they were before the bombs fell. But since then, they have remained neutral with Prosperity. It's not like you have better options, so you go seek their help. When you get to New Eden's gate, you're refused entry by the gatekeeper. Fun fact, this gatekeeper is actually the deputy you played as in Far Cry 5. Having spent many years with Joseph Seed, the deputy eventually succumbed and came to believe in him. The deputy turned into the judge, New Eden's silent protector. Anyway, you start to see visions of Joseph, which guides you to his sacred book. You return to New Eden's gate and show the judge that you have Joseph's book, allowing you entry. You're taken to meet Ethan, Joseph's son and the current leader of New Eden. Ethan is bitter about the fact that you found Joseph's book so easily, something he couldn't do. But he's even more upset about his dad leaving him and New Eden.
My father wanted to build a paradise, but when it got too hard, he ran away!
Believing that his dad might be dead, Ethan asks you to find proof of his death. Only then will he agree to ally with Prosperity. Heading north to find Joseph is dangerous because the area is filled with toxic levels of bliss, but the effects can be negated with fire. Arriving at Joseph's sanctuary, you finally come face to face with the man, and he seems much less threatening than he used to be.
I led us into the new world. I thought that it would be glorious. I was wrong.
Joseph became disillusioned with the post-apocalyptic world, having once believed it would be a paradise, but he's convinced that you will be the one who will bring salvation. He gives you an apple of Eden, which grants superhuman powers to those who have pure souls. When you take a bite, you pass out and awake in a dream where you have to battle with the beast within you. After defeating the beast, you wake up and return to New Eden with Joseph. Joseph immediately takes over as New Eden's leader, much to Ethan's frustration. Things didn't exactly go as planned, but you got the result you wanted. The New Edeners have joined the fight against the Highwaymen. Back in Prosperity, you're told that Thomas Rush was captured by the Highwaymen again, so it's up to you to go save him once more. You find Thomas in a room with the twins, and they execute Thomas in front of you. Seeing Thomas get murdered triggers Eden's gift within you, and you overpower the twins until Mickey shoots you with a shotgun. But no worries, you survive, and the twins think you're dead. The people of Prosperity hold a funeral for Thomas. His contributions made him invaluable, so his loss is deeply felt. You have to find out what the twins are up to next, so you infiltrate their base and participate in a derby. Against the odds, you get first place, so you're invited into the VIP section, where Lou and the other Highwaymen lieutenants congratulate you for winning. Lou doesn't recognize you, I'm assuming because you're wearing a helmet or something, or maybe she's face blind. Anyhow, Mickey enters the room with Ethan. Not surprisingly, Ethan betrays New Eden by telling the twins about the apples of Eden and how they can grant superhuman abilities. In exchange, the twins agree to burn New Eden to the ground. By the time you reach New Eden, the twins have already destroyed most of the settlement. So you face off against the twins, who can take a surprising amount of hits, but you manage to defeat them. Lou ends up dying, but Mickey holds on to life.
You remind me of our mom. She just wanted to make things better, and I should have listened to her. But things just got carried away.
You can't choose to finish her off, but if you decide to spare her, Mickey will disappear for good, leaving behind a note saying that she's going to go look for her mom. When you get to Joseph's sanctuary, Ethan confronts Joseph over being denied an apple of Eden. Despite Joseph's protests, Ethan eats one of the apples, transforming him into a black Yeti-like monster. So you put Ethan down, transforming him back into human for a brief while before he dies. Overcome with regret and sorrow, Joseph carries Ethan's body and burns it along with the apple tree. Because of all the terrible things he's done, Joseph asks you to kill him, but you have the option not to.
Release me!
Kill him or not, either way, you return to Prosperity. At Thomas Rush's grave, you share a beer with Carmina. Thanks to everything you've done, there is hope for the future. And so that's the end. That was the story of Far Cry 5 and Far Cry New Dawn. Thanks for